and the less complicated that you make it for your tax preparer, I'm not going to charge you as much. So if I ever get audited, like, what do you need to see? What receipt do you need to see? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Yulisa. I am a Notary Public business owner, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing some do's and don'ts, some tips and tricks on how to prepare for tax season, which is upon us. So if you're interested, please keep watching. There's a lot of things that we need to make sure as small business owners that we have set in place and established so that it's as easy and smoothly as possible. And the less complicated that you make it for your tax preparer, there is a good chance that they're not going to charge you as much as if you make it a complete chaotic mess. And so we want to save money wherever we can. So we don't want to make it a chaotic mess for anyone, not ourselves, not our tax preparer, not anyone. So let's get right into it. The very first thing that you need to do as a small business owner, as soon as you're established and you're all set to go and you have your EIN number and you've already registered with your state to pay taxes and whatever you need to take care of, once you're ready to go, you're going to put a bookkeeping system in place. There are tons of bookkeeping systems out there that you can use. The most common familiar one that you will hear of is QuickBooks. QuickBooks is an awesome, easy, user-friendly bookkeeping system that you can use to keep yourself organized and on track. But if you're a notary public, a notary signing agent, you might want to consider and use Notary Gadget. If you haven't heard of me mention it, the last 50 times I've mentioned it. It is an amazing bookkeeping system specialized for notary publics and notary signing agents, and it helps you save a lot of money. So if you do not know, the IRS lets you avoid paying self-employment taxes on your notary income. And when it means income, it means the money that you make off of every stamp that you put. It doesn't mean your entire notary fee. It doesn't mean your travel fee. It means your stamps. So, for example, let's just say you had a loan signing, you had 7 notarizations, you made $150. In the state of Arizona, we're allowed to charge $10 per every stamp. And so in this case, in this loan, I have 7 stamps that I'm placing. So 7 stamps times $10, that is $70 out of the $150 that are not subject to self-employment taxes. But it does mean that the remaining $80 are subject to self-employment taxes. So they do allow you to save money because your self-employment taxes are the 15.3%. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to pay any taxes on it, just not self-employment taxes. And this is why you want to have a bookkeeping system in order, so you know it does it for you. Notary Gadget does it for you. It calculates it for you. It creates a profit and loss for you. And at the end of the year, you can see how much of your income is not subject to self-employment taxes based on the stamps that you added. So it just does it for you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to, nothing. And that is why it's super crucial that you do have Notary Gadget if you're Notary Public. Now, I do also have QuickBooks, but to be completely honest with you, I did not do a good job there. I did not stick to it. I did not add everything, but I did on Notary Gadget. Notary Gadget is up to date. I just need to go in and add my mileage. I still need to complete a lot of that. But some notary publics, some notary signing agents do like to use both QuickBooks and Notary Gadget, since some of your income may not only be from notary public work, but I use Notary Gadget. QuickBooks, I did not update it, and it's fine. We're going to use Notary Gadget. This coming year, I do plan on using QuickBooks because I do plan on doing a lot of other things aside from being a notary signing agent. So if you're a small business and you're not particularly a notary public or a notary signing agent, then you might want to use QuickBooks. They do have, I believe, a 1-month free trial, and they do have very affordable basic plans that can get you started, because you want to make sure that you start ASAP. That is like your number one thing after your LLC and everything else is bookkeeping. Okay, so once you have your bookkeeping system in place, you obviously have to keep a system going where you're going to update this bookkeeping system every once in a while. It depends on how it works for you, if you want to update it once a month because you don't really have that much, or once every quarter, or once every week if you do have a lot to update. It just really depends on the system that you want to work on, but you have to really stick to this system, and we'll get in this in a second. We'll get into detail as what I mean when you're like working on your bookkeeping, but you have to implement a system. Organization is a must. It is a key component of your bookkeeping and making sure that you save as much money as possible on your tax returns, and you're also obviously staying up to regulations and laws and everything. Like, organization is a must. So talking about organization, I am a person who needs to have everything physically with me, everything physically, like I can open up a book and everything is there. I've just always been that way, but I make sure that everything that I have physically is also electronically in my computer, because what if something happens and I lose these files? Well, they're on my computer, and then my computer, thankfully, I can access everything, which is really cool. But thankfully, I can access anything that I put on my desktop. I can access it on my laptop, my iPad, or on my iPhone. So it's on the cloud. It's genius. It's amazing. I am old school. I'm like so old school, but I do keep everything that is in these binders, like I said, electronically also. But I basically keep these binders. They're pretty, I think they're the 3-inch binders. And then, I don't know if you can see that, but it says LLC documentation. So I just basically label all of them, and I have everything in these binders. I need to find better tabs in these, but this is my bookkeeping for 2022. Yes, this is my bookkeeping for 2022. It is heavy, guys. It is so heavy. There is literally every single thing that I've ever purchased with my business card is on here. And we'll get into the business account and all that in just a second. But this is very important because I know this is a lot, but if I ever get audited, like I have the 2021 also and the 2020. So if I ever get audited, like, what do you need to see? What receipt do you need to see? Because usually you don't submit receipts. You just have to show proof to your tax preparer about the receipts, and then if later on something comes up and there's an audit or there's something wrong, they can request a copy of a certain receipt. But anyways, this is the entirety of it, and I think I'm missing December's. I still need to finish up working on December's. But this is my bookkeeping. I do have a video on bookkeeping. I don't know, it should be updated with everything, every single piece of information. I'll link it up here for you. This is a must for me. It's like, there is no way I could deduct the things that I can deduct if I don't keep track of them. And plus, for my profit and loss, I need to make sure that I'm making enough money to sustain the business while still making profit, and you know, it's a lot. So everything is in here, and then I also keep my checks. These are the first half of 2022 checks. And then I actually have not finished. That's something that I'm working on. They're already inputted on Notary Gadget, but I have yet to put them in a binder. I need to go out and buy another binder for my 2022 second half checks. So every single check, I'll show you like a page. Okay, check that I've ever received is in here with its invoice and its check. So again, if there is any mistakes, anything that is audited, like, I keep it all in here. The only thing that I do not scan, I don't scan the checks. I use Notary Gadget. I input the check information, like the check number, the date it, like the check has on there, and then the date that I receive it, I think, or just the date that it has on there, and like the amount and the number of the check. That's the only thing. I don't really scan the checks, but I do scan every single one of these receipts. I'm not going to get into that because that's like a bookkeeping video. I do have one, like I mentioned, so you can go check that one out. But it is crucial that you keep your receipts. If for some reason you didn't keep your receipts this year, another thing that you can use is your bank statements. And that leads me to the next point. You do want to have separate bank accounts. You do not want to use and intertwine your personal and your business bank account, because then it's hard when it comes to tracking all of your expenses, especially if you're using your bank statements as proof of your deductions. And so in this case, I do have a business account and I do have a business savings. So I get my bank statements and everything is completely separated from my personal ones. And it just makes it so much easier. I use my business card for everything and anything related to business. I just throw it in here, and then at the end of the month, I put it as an expense, but not everything that is an expense is a deduction. So again, that's something that you want to talk to your tax preparer. It's so great when you see them in categories like the ones that I have, because you'll be able to, she'll be able to tell you, yes, your insurance is a deduction, but maybe not all of your marketing, or maybe not all of your office supplies, or whatever the case may be. It just depends. So yeah, you do want to have separate business accounts. That is going to be a real lifesaver. And there is some business accounts out there that you don't necessarily need to have that much money in them. So to open them, you might want to, I do get asked a lot, what business accounts that should be open, what should be considered. And honestly, if you're just starting out, find a business card that does not have huge monthly charges, or that you don't need a huge amount of money in your card. As your business grows, then you can obviously change into a much better one. But just, I didn't really do much research. I kept my same bank that I use personally as a business, and it works out great because everything is linked together, and I can do transaction withdrawals because it's the same bank. So it just really, you have to do your research. Try asking your personal bank if they do have any business options, and what are your business options when you're just starting out. That's where I would start, and then just kind of go from there. You want to pay quarterly taxes. In the state of Arizona, I do have to submit and file quarterly taxes. Even though I don't intend to pay anything, I can pay $0, but I do still have to submit it. So every state is different, and then I think there's some states that don't require you to pay any taxes. It just depends. You have to do your own research on your state, but make sure that you keep your deadlines and you take them very seriously. I do have my agenda, which you've seen several times. I keep a planner with me all the time with every single quarterly deadline that I have to meet. It is easier when you do pay quarterly taxes. The way you pay quarterly taxes is you kind of estimate a percentage based on the amount that you earned the previous quarter. So the way that you do that is, for example, let's say you made $10,000 the previous quarter. Depending on how much you should be paying, which is between 15.3 to 20%, you might want to pay 15% off of what you previously made. Once you pay quarterly taxes every time, it's just easier than trying to pay a whole chunk at the end of the year, or once you're doing your tax returns. It's just easier once you've made those payments, and it feels like way less money than trying to pay everything all at once. And then maybe to your surprise, you paid more than you had to, and you have a good refund there, or you break even and you don't have to pay anymore. So I do suggest paying quarterly taxes if you can, because it's going to be a lifesaver, and it's just going to be better down the road for sure. So really quickly, we're going to run down your do's and your don'ts. I've mentioned these before, but we're just going to run them down real quick. So for your do's, you do want to keep copies of your receipts completely, but you do not want to just keep physical copies. You want to make sure that you scan them all and they're in a electronic copy as well. You do want to make sure that you have separate bank account for your personal and your business expenses. You don't want to use the same bank account for both. I feel like my finances were just out of control when everything was in one bank account. Talk to your tax professional about any or all of these, all of the questions that you have. I'm not a tax preparer. I do not have much information, rather just like the information that I've been given by my personal tax preparer. But If you have any questions, go talk to your tax preparer. Ask them these questions. That's what they're there for. I am not a financial advisor nor a tax preparer. Quick disclaimer there. Track your mileage for your business. Make sure that you track your mileage if you plan on using your car as a business deduction. You want to make sure you keep track of all those miles that you've driven. And again, Notary Gadget does that for you. So like if you needed a sign for Notary Gadget, what are you waiting? Like I gave you all the points. And I actually do have a discount code for you. So if you use my link in my bio, you do get a free trial. Your first 15 signings are free. And then your 61, you start paying $9.99 a month, which is totally worth it for the amount of money that you save and the headaches. And it just does everything for you. And it's also a calendar. It syncs to my calendar on my phone, and I get a notification 10 minutes before my signing, just so I make sure that I never miss anything. Don't make it harder than it has to be. Just keep all of your receipts, keep everything organized, and if it feels like at some point it's too much, then you might want to consider hiring a bookkeeping/accountant for your business, or even your tax preparer might be able to provide you this service. It will come in handy, especially once you've escalated your business quickly and you have a lot to handle. Then you might want to consider hiring someone for that. This were just tips and tricks. I hope that they were helpful. I hope that they help you plan ahead for this tax season and plan for the next season. They just keep coming. I feel like we just finished one and we're on another one. So yeah, let me know what other videos you would like to see from me. Any business related, any notary public, or any lifestyle videos. Any suggestions that you have, please leave them on the comments down below. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Much love. God bless, guys. Bye.